You guys, I have been begging forever to have a very special guest on the pod, and finally this week it's happening.
To me, it's the chess game. Like, to me, every match is like this puzzle, and if I can solve the puzzle, that's like such a feeling of like achievement. Like if you watch Pickleball Next Generation, the creator can be anywhere on the court. If you're watching Gabe Tardy, if you're watching Hayden, if you're watching any of these players on the right that are creating and straddling the middle from the right, okay, and creating so much chaos from the right side, I want these players and the junior development to realize like it is no longer a left side world.
My partner and friend, Megan Fudge. Let's go.
Also
known as the APP World Record Holder in medal count.
Wow. You're going to get to hear from Megan how she ended up where she did, how she's won so many medals, and how she really thinks about the game.
We also do a little bit of a US Open recap. How did we predict on Annalie Waters and Andre Agassi? I think we did okay there. And of course, a Cincinatti recap. Your girl left with some hardware, gold medal in women's and a bronze medal in mixed. We've got all of that and more on Pod 62.
We'll talk till we're blue.
You tune in now to this pickleball life. I'm K-Dubby and Jilly B is my wife. She's the pro and I've got the filler. She's sweet to me, but on the court she's a killer. Unadulterated and efficiently bringing you the best and worst things in PB. Tell your friends and stay for another. And no one loves us more than your mother. One thing's for sure, when hit and you're addicted. Grab a pile, grab a court, don't resist it. So click subscribe, let's go, let's get cracking. Thing song done, let's go, let's get laughing. This pickleball life.
All right, you guys, since announcing that we only had 10 spots left at Tres Palapas in Mexico, October 25th through the 29th, we have 4 spots left and a lot of interest in those 4 spots. So if you love tacos, sunshine, getting better at pickleball, white sand beaches, and of course a little ukulele with K-Dubs, go ahead and go to jillybpickleball.com/trace, fill out the form, and yeah, let's get on a call and you can learn more.
You guys, we are headed to the Northeast, our only pit stop in the tri-state area this year. We are going to host a clinic with the Pickleball Clinic at Montclair, Bergen County Country Club. We are going to have a few spots still left if you want to join us next week. That is
May 20th and May 21st. Let's go. Northeast, here we come.
Then straight to the APP NYC. Stoked on that. And we'll be back. We have a camp here at home. One last fantasy camp.
My last fantasy camp, you guys, of the year.
What better Father's Day present could you ever imagine than a Jilly B camp?
Let's go.
You know, if you're running out of ideas, you don't want to give dad that old tie again, Jilly B camp. Think about it. Then we're headed to Colorado. We've got Boulder Pickleball with Scott Fleegs, who we just saw at the US Open, played split age with Jill. And then we are headed to my hometown, Aspen, Colorado. We've got camps there too. So Colorado people, maybe Kansas people, Oklahoma people, Utah people, come on down.
Yep. June 5th is the Boulder camp and the 6th. And then June 7th through the 12th, I will be in Aspen. And those are the dates. Look forward to seeing you guys.
Speaking of Father's Day, happy Mother's Day to everyone last week. What a Mother's Day for Megan.
Yes.
What a Mother's Day gift is that?
On Mother's Day, Megan broke the APP all-time medal count record.
Amazing.
Walked home to her RV. Drove
home away from home
with a gold medal in women's, which we'll talk about later, and a silver medal in mixed.
Amazing. 70. That's a lot of medals. What do you think she does with all of them? I mean, there's not a lot of room in that RV.
She said she gives them away to a lot of their hosts, people that have helped them along the way.
So smart, so smart.
I've kind of adopted that.
Yeah. You gave them away to our top drawer.
Keep 90% of them.
Oh, have you felt like all your medals mean the same? Like, do you think that winning certain medals means more than others?
I was thinking about this the other day. You know, I've won a national championship. I wanted to win the US Open. We fell short to Annalie and Lee Waters, and we'll talk about that later. And I have not won. I don't think I've won a major, an APP major. So next week is New York, and I've never gotten a gold medal in a major.
First tournament of the year was a major. The Fort, right?
No, it wasn't.
Only the second Fort was a major?
Mm-hmm.
That's
the
so
second
funny.
Fort was a major.
So ironic.
Yeah.
Huh.
So not to like.
There you go. Well, I mean, nationals.
Well, it's
Is
funny.
a form of major.
Yeah. So US Open, let's chat a little bit about that. Wild. I think our predictions on Andre Agassi and Annalie's kind of like success rate were spot on. He's like a 5-4 player.
Yeah, it was literally the role reversal. It was
Yeah.
like, what would it look like with Annalie being the guy on a mixed court,
Sure.
playing with a girl, essentially, because she's like a 6'2" and he's a 5'4".
So they lost to Trang and Lenny Yang technically in the third round because they had a first round bye. They won one round. And I don't think it could have happened to a better person. I really love Trang. I'm happy that she played well. She's a Southern California girl. My sister trains a lot with.
Yeah,
and
we
Lenny
always talk
Yang had a
about-
great tournament. Former
Yeah.
ping pong protege.
Okay. I was just going to say, every year at the U.S. Open is somebody's coming out
Totally.
party.
This is Lenny Yang's
Last
coming
year
out party.
was Eric Onson's. This year it was Lenny Yang.
100%. And so
Yeah.
Lenny went on to get gold with Jack Munro in mixed.
Yeah.
In an epic match.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, they're a fun pair, and you can tell that they're friends.
So-
You can tell they've got vibes.
For me, I felt like the US Open was my revenge tour because
Totally.
because I was bent on beating people and teams that had just beaten us. So Mark Dancourt and I played, and we had lost to Amanda Hendry and Chris Hayworth in the bronze medal match in Sacramento. We play them again. We beat them. Straight games. It was literally revenge tour. Megan and I play Shelby Bates and Sophia Seving. We had just lost to them. Our first time not medaling in a tournament at the Fort. And we beat them in an 11-9
death battle.
third game death battle. We were down 2-7 in the third game. And we switched sides, put me on the right, Megan on the left. And that very first point where we switched us, I don't think we won the rally, but I was like, oh, this feels right. We're going to win this match. And there was like literally never a doubt in my mind. Sometimes you just feel it. Even when you're down match point, which we were down one match point, it just never felt wrong. It felt right. It felt like it was going to happen.
Yeah. And those situations sometimes feels like the person with the match point has all the pressure in the world on them. And sometimes it feels like the person down match point has all the pressure in the world on them. And you just never know which person is going to come through. But
Really long. It was really hot. It was a death battle. The crowd was with us. That's one thing I'll say about the
100%.
U.S. Open. The crowd on that center court, it's unbelievable. It's bigger than nationals and louder. And they were really rooting on me and Megan, even in the finals against Anna Lee and Lee. It's crazy to say, but like we had the crowd on our side.
No, that was...
Or maybe they just wanted a better match. They were like, let's go, Megan and Jill. Come on, pick it up.
That was the most intense
Yeah.
crowd hanging on their seat. I have never received so many text messages from our friends after the match saying like, I think I need to go on medication. I was so like blood pressure, anxiety, sweating from my flop sweat, pit sweat, needed to change my clothes after.
I don't know if I told you.
That was so nerve-wracking.
After the semifinals, I call my sister Natalie
like-
and she was like, I hate you. I'm having a heart attack. I'm supposed to be on vacation with my family right now in the desert. I can't talk to you right now. And that was like my congratulations for making it to the finals of the US Open from her.
Yes.
Everyone
No,
was mad at me for giving them
100%.
heartburn.
Yes, 100%. So yeah, it was interesting too to see all the people who were clearly there because of Andre Agassi and/or Annalie Waters. But good to see Andre trying to do what he can to promote the sport. Definitely support that. And yeah, he has skills, that's for sure. And I'm glad to see those skills put to the test. I wonder if he'll ever just play an actual senior pro event. I mean, imagine if they'd played split age. That would have been so cool. And, we talk about split age, the old debate, right?
Mhm.
Young girl, old guy, or young guy, old gal. What's the real formula?
Split age is so fun. So played with my student and friend, Carrie Blair. We won one round against the Welshers, and then we lost in the second round. And played with Scott Fliegelman. Scott's actually my original coach. And still I'll text Scott Fliegelman for advice. I only take coaching from men named Scott. Or women named Scott. Just have to be named Scott.
I know a couple women named Scotty.
And my sponsor, Scott from Thrive. It is really tough in my phone when I go to type in SC.
Yeah, there definitely go a few texts flying to the wrong Scott.
Oh yeah, 100%. And Scott and I did great. We made a quarterfinals run and then lost to the team that won, Patrick Kafka and his partner Lee Whitwell. And so my theory on split age, tell me what you guys think, is I think the combination that ends up winning the most is always a guy and then a senior female. I think it's just like basic duper math. Like you take a 6'2" to 6'5" male and you have a 5'0" to 5'4" senior female. Like what does that add up to? And then compare it to like I'm a 5'8" duper. And then whatever, if Scott's a 5'8" duper, like the numbers
close to equal.
Yeah, we're too close
it's
to
a
equal.
classic pickleball conundrum. You have 4 players on the court. You take the best and the worst and you put them against the 2 middle people. That is mixed split age. So I did a deep dive because I was curious if Jill's theory was correct. And what do you think we found? I dug all the way down to 2021, the first year of mixed split age at the US Open. And guess who won? Young gal Catherine Parento with an old man Steve Kennedy.
Old? Yikes. Kristen.
These are generalities. And you know what? Come at me. I'll take it.
Oh my goodness.
I can take it. You can call me a middle-aged woman. I don't care.
2022. Let's
2022, Leah Jansen, a.k.a. Young Gal, Old Guy, John Sperling. 2023, Simone Jardim with Jaime Onsens. That's a lot of zhizhing from Brazil. And then 2024 was the first year a gold medal had gone to a young guy named Andre Daescu, playing with Lee Whitwell, freshly minted as a senior pro.
And then 2025, we have Patrick Kafka and Lee Whitwell. So is it just a Lee Whitwell?
Is it the Lee Whitwell effect?
Or is it what I'm thinking, which is guy, young guy, senior pro, female? Also, what happened after 2023? Paddle technology too. Paddle technology.
Yeah, no, that was actually part of my theory is that it has evolved. So we'll see. I mean, obviously there are just individual traits to these people, but it's possible. It's possible.
So on the topic of US Open, what was it like playing in the finals against Anna Leigh Waters and Lee Waters? We talk about this when Megan comes on the pod. So stick around. It was fascinating. And I think that match propelled me to want to play a different style and to play so much better in Cincinatti. So I don't like to fetishize failure too much, but definitely getting our butts handed to us in that match really did fire me up for further revenge tour in Cincinatti, where at the US Open, Mark and I had lost to Sophia Seving and Riley Bonnert and Richard Livernese. Well, guess what? Will Sobek and I played both of those teams in Cincinnati. And we had a close one, 3 games against Sophia and Casey. We beat them. And we had a 3-game match against Richard and Riley, and we beat them. And we made our way to the semifinals where we lost handily to Jack and Megan, but we did secure a bronze medal, Will's first bronze medal of 2025. And then Megan and I, obviously, you know how that ended. We played Bobby Oshiro and Kat Stewart. We beat them. And then I played one of the cleanest matches I've ever played in my life against Allison Harris and Judith Castillo, where we won 1-0. And then tried to just carry that energy through to the finals where we played Jana Newell and Emily Ackerman. And what's interesting,
Cedarquist.
Thank you, Emily Cedarquist. And I think we won 5-3 or 7-3. I'm looking at
Yeah,
you.
I think it was 5 and wasn't it 1?
No,
second
match. They had 3 in the second. So I think it was 5 and 3.
5 and 3.
Or and what's interesting about that match, I don't know if you piece this together and the announcers talked about it, was
You played them 5 times.
It was Cincinnati last year where I played with Emily and Megan played with Jana.
100%. It was the foursome flop.
It was the foursome flop. And Emily and I won like 11-9 or 12-10 in a third game in super windy conditions against them. And I think that was kind of a reason too. Megan and I decided to play together. If I had lost to Megan in that match, who knows if Megan and I would be playing together, if that makes any sense. But the butt whooping delivered to me by Anna Leigh Waters definitely propelled me in Cincinnati, and maybe Megan too, just to play candidly a lot more like Anna Leigh, like trying just to be more aggressive until someone proves otherwise.
Yeah. No, I mean, we posted that dinking video as a joke, but it's also true. It is also true. I mean, hence look at the mixed split age results. Like the game has evolved, and it's not really the skill of being able to force someone to dink forever that is winning these matches anymore.
Yeah, it's the hands.
It's the right surprise at the right moment.
Yeah.
And if you think about like why are speed ups effective and when, it's that they get to you 20% faster than you're ready for. So if 20% faster turns into 20% on 20% with paddle technology, then you're looking at a very different, like, humans haven't changed.
Yeah.
We react as well as we react. And now you're getting that ball on you just that much faster, and you're that much more likely to not get a good counter on the ball. And this is the world we're living in.
What is the one thing top pros all have in common when it comes to recovery? They're wearing compression. Active recovery is a real thing. A year ago, if someone had told me I could reduce my risk of injuries just by wearing these tights, I wouldn't have believed them. Now, when I play hard for 3 hours, it feels like only 1 hour of wear and tear. I can look my best and feel my best. That's the magic behind my Leo Rivet compression tights.
I did want to quickly rewind to the U.S. Open that you played Will Howell's girlfriend, Britt,
And he coached.
and her partner, Volley, who is this young, cute phenom who has so much spirit, so much fire. It was really great.
How can she not be
watching
great?
them
Her name's
play.
Volley, and she
Right?
plays pickleball.
Destiny. Do
Maybe-
you think Volley is the next Jorja Johnson?
I just think if we had another cat, it would be Flick or Roll. Or even a child. Hey, Flick.
Flick, that's fun.
I'm sorry, what'd you just
Flicka.
call your child? Oh, his name is Flick.
Yeah, I've heard of people being named Flicka. What is that short for? Florence? Tell us in the comments. But yeah, do you think who's gonna be the next young phenom?
Okay,
Volley
so
or
Kaylin Campbell. I want to
Campbell?
talk about Kaylin Campbell for a second. This is Kason Campbell's sister. By the way, there's going to be like in a year where it flips, and it's not Kason Campbell's sister.
Yeah,
You know what I
it's
mean?
Kaylin Campbell's brother.
Kaylin Campbell's brother. I was impressed with her when I saw her a year ago at the PPA Orange County Cup, where I played with my sister Natalie. And my sister and I looked at each other after the match and went, "Oh my God, that girl, she's going to be really good. She's only like 13 years old." And I think she's 14 now. And she's training with her brother every day. And obviously, like having, especially a guy against whom to compete with, someone who's hitting it harder, faster hands, is huge. And she's just tall and strong and has great hands. And just, I think she's going to, give her a year, maybe only give her 6 months.
Yeah, not to mention that, like, when you have a sibling in the sport who especially is older, there's just that much more like insulation, protection, and guidance.
Totally.
I think a lot of what's tough for these young or any upcoming pros, like, even remember when Noah was going to start playing pro pickleball, leaving the tennis tour,
Oh,
and
the
he was like,
tennis player.
"How do I do it? And who should I play with? And what do I sign up?" And like, it takes a lot to like find partners and know which events to play in and what's the deal with the tour wars. So to have that brother there the whole time, I think is such a huge gift for both Jorja and Kaylin in this case.
Speaking of the tour wars and speaking of the tours, I have to tell you one really funny thing. Did I tell you that 2 players who had spoken out on Twitter and in social media about like how bad it looked that Ben Johns tanked in Columbus, they received letters and fines from the UPA.
This is
I saw one
Pat
of the
Smith
letters.
gate.
I saw one of the letters, and it's basically like, "We encourage you to go read section, 17.3 of the player handbook, focusing on non-disparagement of the tour." So apparently disparaging Ben Johns is disparaging the tour.
So funny.
They're just so desperate to control
pointing
the
out
narrative.
tanks is not allowed.
Just so desperate to control the narrative.
Yes. So I did have a question though, legitimate. What percentage of the total bottom line of Nash Bowls, the acai bowl vendor, do you think we contributed to
Yeah, I
at the
finally
US
found
Open?
something I can eat during tournaments. Acai bowls. Jorja Johnson and Jilly Johnson had it right all along.
Yeah, fans, you're always wondering, like, what can I say to Jill at tournaments? Like, how do I, approach her, and what do I do? Just bring her an acai bowl.
No,
It's the greatest win.
The one thing about the US Open that was pretty wild was, the pros are so accessible. We're all walking around, and I had more people come up to me than in any other tournament before. So I thought I'd put together a list of things to like not say to a player or not ask a player.
Did you put the list together?
I'm going to do it off the top of my head right now.
Okay.
Number 1, are you playing now? Number 2, are you playing soon? Number 3, are you going on court? Do you have a court assignment? You can just like follow online, but yeah, not fun to like answer that every 30 seconds. Number 4, man, that was a really close game. Didn't think you guys were going to win. You never have to say anything like you never have to say anything like that.
Yes, here are good things to say. Never a doubt.
Great plan.
I loved watching you play. I love your fiery spirit and how much you smile on the court. Thank you for putting on a show.
But yeah, if you want to ask for a photo or ask a question, always best to be like, you're not going out on court right now, are you? Like there are a few times you're like literally getting called to court.
Totally.
And it's like,
In fairness, I loved that one person did come up and say how excited they were to read the Midnight Library.
I had just
like
gotten
that was a
called to
good
court.
deep dive. That was a good deep dive. I didn't dislike the comment. Timing was a little tough, but it seemed that he understood that was going on. But yeah, it was a definitely different environment. That was our first U.S. Open, and this whole time it was like, the U.S. Open's the best tournament. The U.S. Open's my favorite tournament. Oh my God, the U.S. Open, it's the best. And so I think I had like a very different picture built up in my head. I don't know about you, but it definitely was like a hectic environment.
Very.
And I
very.
think we've just constantly had the problem of being spoiled having nationals at Indian Wells to compare all other events to,
Yeah.
because it's like so perfect and clean and like built up because it's the host of a major tournament in tennis. I mean, I guess next week we're at, the US Open venue in New York, but still it was really great energy, building throughout the week. Again, glad that we had the excitement of the waters
It's
and
like
Andre,
a big
but
potluck is the best way to describe it. So if you haven't
Yeah.
played the US Open,
and
it's
people are like clanning together.
yeah, so it's like, it feels like no one signs up individually. You go with a group of friends. You set up a canopy, right? You have your spot. It's almost like a concert, an open air concert where you go and you stake your claim and then you hang out all day long and you watch your friends. And even like our hosts, like Mel didn't play in it, right? But she also like wanted to be there and watching her friends.
Yes. Lots of cheering on their own
And-
like groups and in their sections.
Huge thank you
And-
to Mel and Tim. Such amazing hosts. Thank you for
Oh
all
my
of your
gosh.
hospitality. We took over a
Just-
whole wing of your house.
Nonstop laughter the whole week.
They're probably really happy to see us leave.
Sorry we were a negative effect on Bella. We'll never hear the end of that one.
Their dog.
We watched a semi-violent movie, and then her dog found a little
Violence in its heart.
that they didn't
And
think
There may or
was
be
in there.
there may or may not be one less bunny in Naples, Florida.
Yes. Well, the cycle of life. We move on. But yes, Mel and Tim, huge shoes to fill for any other hosts. And thank you so much for being so supportive of even my tush. I was so harangued by the people behind me trying to film. And it was tough because everything had chain link. So I'm like sitting up against the chain link fence trying to get, film content like I do, between holding bananas and getting acai bowls. And these people were like livid, yelling at me down in front and like, can you move? And so I had to sit. But sitting was like these full on like Mesozoic era obsidian flint rocks. And so luckily Mel and Tim were like, we should bring you a seat cushion tomorrow. And so they found me a seat cushion so I could sit on the rocks.
Were these the same Mesozoic flint rocks you used to gather by hand to put under our rental
Yes,
car's
this is a full
wheel
circle story.
to get us unstuck
Yes.
from the dirt parking lot?
And shout out to our boy Daniel, who was taking care of the parking lot the whole week. I mean, that is a thankless job right there. And I'm just so grateful for the volunteers at these things.
100%.
Keep it coming. But he was like, you don't want to go in that section. You're going to have to get a tow truck to get out. And all week long, I was like looking for this loose gravel section, this loose dirt section.
You found it.
And then finally, the last day, Mel parked the car, but I pulled it out. So I think I was like off my game.
You're off your game.
But in fairness, we walked through this soft section, so I should have known better. I pull out, I go to move forward again, and I'm like, SHIT, I'm fully stuck. Luckily, I grew up in the snow, and I'm used to the feeling of like a car spinning out and understanding how to deal with it.
So proud of you.
And also, luckily, it's way easier to dig out a car in 85 degrees than 5 degrees. So I'm like, oh my
Crushed it.
God, perfect. Megan's coach, DK, right there. DK, can you push us out? He literally looked at me like I asked him to give me $1 million and was like, what do you want me to do?
He didn't know it was you. He was like, oh,
Then
I didn't
finally-
know it was you.
Yeah, I get out of the car and he's like, oh, I didn't know I knew these people in this car. I'm like, yeah, thanks a lot for nothing. And I'm like, I need like sticks or something to like harden the ground. I literally get on my bare hands and knees. Meanwhile, Jill's like waiting in the heat for me. And I'm like worried that she's going to overheat, waiting for me to pull the car around. I'm digging with my bare hands and knuckles, like out a trench of this tire area. And then it dawns on me, the rocks have been sitting on all week. And I run over, grab like 5 handfuls, shove them under the wheels. Mel gets out. She's doing the same. Jennifer, DK's wife, is doing the same. Meanwhile, DK is like, do you want me to get in and drive? Because I'm a man and I know what to do. I was like, just leave, DK. You are no use to me. So I get in and I put it in drive. DK actually did start to push from behind, and I appreciate that. I'm only kidding you because I love you, DK. And we did escape the quicksand of the U.S. Open parking lot. So that was a fun tidbit for me. Always a solutions-oriented person, you know. You gotta stay challenged. Keep those McGyver skills up.
It was very impressive.
Thank you.
It was very impressive.
So yeah, do you think we'll go back to the U.S. Open?
TBD.
Yes. Do you want to talk about mixed doubles at all at U.S. Open?
So yeah, U.S. Open, silver in women's, 4th place in mixed. And if you want to hear more about what it was like to play against Anna Leigh, what we could have done a little differently, stay tuned. Megan is coming on right now.
And you did just jump backwards a few minutes ago in time that you got revenge on both of those with Will Sobeck. So in case you missed it, the 2 teams that Mark and Jill lost to were the 2 teams that Will and Jill beat in Cincinnati.
In 3 games each. So
it's
the
a very
revenge
tour. Who do we need revenge on in APP? New York City.
No one. Let's go. Just
Clean
win.
slate.
Clean slate.
Oh,
revenge has been
funny.
extracted. Clean slate. Let's go.
Oh my gosh. Can I just have 5 minutes to bitch about Pickleball Den?
We gotta go.
Well, there's nothing I can say about Pickleball Den that hasn't already been said by anyone who has tried Pickleball Den. And I appreciate how difficult software can be, but it really was like disruptive to the fan experience at the US Open. I mean, you talk about people asking you what court you're on. It's because there's no way to find out. Like it's so hard. It makes you sign in every single time you visit the website. Like if you shut your phone down for 5 minutes, you have to sign in again. And I do appreciate that it is a difficult problem to solve all of in a pickleball environment. But like we have to keep moving forward. Like software has gotten better. We don't need to go backwards in time and struggle. But it's like at the very minimum, show the scores. You have to click the names every single time to even see scores. Like why? So I'm gonna leave it at that and wish you well, Pickleball Den. And in full irony, I am playing a tournament this weekend, and guess who's hosting it? Pickleball Den. So I get to live it all over again on Saturday and Sunday. Cannot wait. I almost wore my Hessicor shirt today as an homage.
Your Hessicor shirt? You mean the one that says Jilly B on the back that I just cleaned and hung to dry?
Speaking of sharing clothes.
I've been wondering where that little ditty is, K-Dubby.
I will have very soon a super fun video unveiling the 3 ways to install a Hessicor.
Yeah.
But whichever way you chose, it's always a better pickleball experience with a Hessicor in your hands.
Agree. You guys check out shop.hessicor.com. Use code JillyB if you want to play better, feel better, have a better grip, and prevent pickleball elbow. We are so excited, you guys, to have Megan Fudge, my partner on the pickleball court and the recent APP medal count record holder. That's right, 70 medals in under 3 years. Megan travels the country in her tricked out RV, accompanied by her professional pickleball player husband, Ryler DeHart, and their 2 beautiful children, JR and Lily, who also play in the tournaments Megan and Ryler play in. Megan travels extensively internationally with frequent trips to India, Asia, and beyond. Megan, thank you so much for being on the pod. Finally.
Yes, I'm excited. I feel so privileged to be asked. I'm on the pod. Yes, I'm getting interviewed.
Yes.
I'm here. I've made it.
The one, the only. So as Jill mentioned, you are no stranger to a plane ride, to jet lag, to jet setting, to being busy. As you say, you do your best when you're busy. But let's just quickly touch on where it all came from. I know, yada, yada, you grew up in Germany, you've got international parents, a British mum, a New Zealander dad. How many passports do you own, actually?
I have one passport. I have a British passport. It helps me get into the majority of countries. Super nice. But I have my American green card and a German citizenship. So I get to kind of be a little bit of everywhere.
Do you select the passport to use based on how you think that passport agent will treat you based on that country?
Yeah, like I've actually discussed with Ryla that maybe the kids should add a couple of passports too, while we can still get them for them. So I think right now a British passport is very useful everywhere around the world. But obviously, as things change in the political scene, it might change as well. But right now, a British passport most gets me into most countries.
That's great. I wish I could have that optionality. So I know your dad was integral in your upbringing in tennis in Germany. How did he end up in Germany and taking the family to
Yeah, how does
Germany
a
for
Kiwi end up in
tennis?
Germany? Definitely, he loved traveling. Like, I probably get the travel bug from him. He left New Zealand to kind of discover the world, to see the world. He had spent some time in Africa and in Israel, and then he ended up in London. Met my mom at a tennis club in London when he was coaching there. Got a 2-year contract in Germany to go on another adventure over there, and didn't speak any German. Convinced my mom to join him on this, like, just let's go to Germany and check it out. And they never left. They just got stuck there. They've
Wow.
ended up at an amazing club, tennis club in Germany. And my dad just retired last summer from the same job after, 42 years. And that just became their lifestyle. But I think I got that travel bug from him. So I'm going to go with that.
Let us know if you lose Jill
Oh my
because our
God,
cat Toby
seriously?
has just decided to become the
I love
producer
it.
of this
Oh, I love
audio
him
package.
He wants
so
in on the pod, okay? He wants in.
It's literally his cue. He ignores us all day until we're recording a podcast.
all day long, Megan. Wants nothing to do with us, and then
And then
during
this
the
is
pod.
time.
Oh man. So is he still in Germany with your mom?
Yeah, both my parents still live in Germany. My dad's retired. He retired last summer. We had a big celebration with the whole family in Turkey, to celebrate his retirement. But he loves golf. He's playing golf. I wish he would play pickleball. I think he would be amazing at pickleball. He's always been incredible table tennis player, squash player, badminton. Those are the sports I grew up
There's your
playing
split
with
age.
him.
There's your split age
I
pro
need
partner for
I
next
told him,
year.
like, and also, like, all his siblings that live in New Zealand, actually, they've all taken to pickleball. They're all playing. They've been messaging me pictures and sending me pictures from their, like, medals in New Zealand. And I'm like, "Dad, like, your siblings are playing in New Zealand. Like, you should be playing pickleball too in Germany. Like, we could
Get with
all
the
go to the English
program.
Open and you guys could play together." So I'm trying to, like, plant something here. But my dad would be honestly so good at pickleball. And he does think he's already good at pickleball without having touched a pickleball as well. He'll send me essays and essays of my matches on analyzing what I did wrong. Especially at the beginning when I started playing, it was like a lot. I'm like, Dad, you've never seen pickleball live. Like, you're literally basing this purely on a YouTube video that you watched me play in.
That's funny.
And he's like,
Oh
well,
my
the
gosh.
angles of the court and your paddle face. And, so he's still wanting to be part of my coaching and wanting to be part of my journey in racket sports for sure.
I love that so much.
That's
Speaking
so
of the
great.
English Open, you've played it a number of times. Do you feel British when you're there playing it?
You know what, Jill? Like, I'm a foreigner everywhere I go. That's been my life. When I lived in
Interesting.
Germany, I was a foreigner in Germany when I was growing up there. When I went to England to boarding school, I was a foreigner when I was there. I came to America, I'm still a foreigner. So, in Britain, I feel most at home. I feel like, I have British blood. I feel like I'm coming home to something, but I'm now considered American. So it's like, oh my gosh, I could never win. I'm never
You
home.
can't win. Oh my God. I
Never.
felt like that in Texas. They thought I was a Yankee.
Oh my gosh.
And in the New York area, they think I'm like from the West.
Yeah.
And it's like in Colorado, who are you?
Yeah.
I just feel like basically a Southern Canadian, That's my self-select.
Yeah.
But you know what it really is for me, hearing you talk about feeling that foreigner kind of sentiment everywhere you go. It's resiliency. And to me, that is the one through line of all like child rearing experts and psychologists. It's like if you can feel at home anywhere, you can do anything, survive anything, and turn any problem into a solution. And that is something I really see in you. Does that track? Do you feel that it built that sense of resiliency for you?
Yeah, I mean, like, I think it's, I think it's been a crucial part of everybody's life, right? I mean, things we go through in childhood and things we're trying to like have our kids experience right now, I know is going to stay with them for life. I hope that not just like on the pickleball court or not just like on our travels, but like this overall, like this opportunity, this like, this like is constant on the move, but feeling at home. It's like you're saying, like wherever we are, that they can feel at ease. In chaos, we can find calmness. And I think it's such a crucial, trait to have in life nowadays. It's a lot of chaos out there. But I'm hoping that we can help them feel like they are still in control wherever they are.
Totally. No, and you really have exemplified that in your life in the RV. Jill, did you want to
So,
ask about the RV life?
yes, you live in an RV. It has this Franklin pickleball custom wrap around it. We'll put up photos right now on the
Yeah,
pod.
you gave
so
us a great tour.
Yeah, if you're listening on YouTube, check it out. And when I first saw a photo of Frankie, that's the name of the RV, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's it.
I thought it was like AI generated. I thought it was something like the Franklin team drew up in their graphic design department. And then I saw it for myself, and it is wild. You have a king size bed, a full size fridge, 2 big screen TVs, a kitchen, a dining nook, 2 dogs. Like, what were you and Ryler doing before you found pickleball 3 years ago? And if someone had told you that in 3 years you'd be living in an RV, touring the world, breaking records, making money and a living playing pickleball, what would you have said?
I would tell you insane. You would be absolutely insane. I don't know what you're thinking, but you're nuts. Like that's not possible. I would never do that. That's not in our realm. You're insane. Like move on. Like you're obviously a crazy person. That's what I'm
What
really
would be the
saying.
craziest part about it?
Yeah,
Like,
which would be
I'm
the
not
most
sure, honestly.
surprising?
Yeah.
I think the RV part would be the craziest part because we were living this like we had bought this beautiful home in Lake Nona, a
Mhm.
dream house. Ryla was a national coach with Team USA. With 2
Wow.
kids. I was a stay-at-home mom. I was training for triathlons. We had this beautiful life envisioned for the next 20 years, 25 years of just like, it's like the perfect HOA community, fun and friends next to us. Like this was just like the vision. And then boom, COVID hits and life is turned upside down. Like we literally were like, what do we do? Ryan lost his job. We were, raising our 2 children and didn't know where we're going to get the next paycheck. And we're just like, okay, how do we respond to this? Like, what are our options? Obviously, our vision, our dream is crushed. What do we do now? And I remember like friends calling us and being devastated for us. And we're just like, well, it's just, this is a fork in the road. Like, we are very capable of anything. What is it? What we want to do? I don't know yet, but I know we're going to be fine. And so we got this invitation to go to Delaware. And we're like, Delaware. I've never been to Delaware. We have a friend there,
Which
owns
is
a
where you
club.
are physically right now.
This
You
is
are
where
in
we are right
Delaware
now.
right
And
now.
so it's
At
so
the place
bizarre
where
to
you
think
very
this is
first.
a full 360 turn of events of now. And I just said this in my speech in my clinic, to be back here after winning the biggest tournament in my life of where it all started is just like this. I couldn't like I get
Wow.
goosebumps. Like, like I'm back here.
It's
Like
poetic.
I'm back at where the game was introduced to me, where I first stepped on the pickleball court and I got absolutely crushed. And where I was just like, what is this thing? But this is where we turned our life around. This is literally
Okay,
where
so back up. So
yeah.
Ryler loses his job.
Yeah.
You guys go to Delaware to play a pickleball tournament.
No, we go to Delaware to find work. Like to go
Oh, to find work. Okay.
Yeah, to find work, to have a
When you
place
say an
that we were living for
invitation,
free.
what was that invitation to?
Our friend owns a facility, a tennis facility that was putting down pickleball lines, like tape lines, but it was mainly a tennis facility. And he was like, "Hey, Megan, like however much you want to work, like you want to be on court, if you want to be work in the office, whatever you want to do, Riley has lessons here if he wants it, but you have a free place to stay. Like this is a safe haven. Like come to my house, stay with us. Like figure life out from here."
Wow.
And we're like, hey, we have nothing to lose. Let's pack up the car, take the 2 dogs, 2 kids, go up to Delaware. If anything, it's, summer in Delaware. Let's think of it like that. Summer in Delaware. We'll figure life out there. And, we show up and we just like took one day at a time. It was like a matter of like, all right, we'll do some lessons. I worked the front desk. I was mopping floors, cleaning bathrooms. Like it was just like let's grind. We can grind. We're not afraid of work. We can work. And then he was starting up a pickleball clinic, and he was like, Megan, hey, I need a fourth. Will you jump in here? I'm like, pickleball, like, what is this? Like, okay, sure, I'll jump in. I'll be the fourth in this like pickleball 101. It was like through the community college here. I jumped in. I was like, I can do this, like it looked so easy. Looked kind of dumb. But kind of got the interest. It sparked an interest. I got on court more and more, coaching tennis again. Ryla was coaching. We were working a ton. We were working 50-hour weeks at this point because we could. This is this opportunity, saving money. And come November that year, we finally saved up enough money and said, we're going back to Florida. That's where we feel home. We're going back to Florida. But this Delaware, was a place for us we found ourselves again. Like it was, it was a place that's been very, very crucial in our bounce back in life.
And so is it fair to say that the worst thing that had ever happened to you guys, or one of the worst things conceivably, was the loss of the job, moving to Delaware, but it turned out to be literally one of the best things that ever happened to you guys?
It sparked it sparked the pickleball journey. Yeah. I would have never really heard about pickleball, seen pickleball without this. What happened? I mean, and being here in Delaware, being at the facility, we then moved back to Florida, and we looked for pickleball there because of this. We looked for pickleball for a social opportunity for us to kind of do something Tuesdays and Thursday nights as a couple, and it kind of turned into this thing that Ral and I did together.
That's so great. That's so great. And I'm glad you guys didn't go all the way until divorce before you stopped playing together. That was critical.
I want to talk about that.
We'll get back to that in a second. But I did want to quickly say that, like, you talked for a second about how you looked at pickleball and you were like, what is this dumb sport? It's a wiffle ball. It sounds funny. It's tiny. I played tennis. That's whatever. And we obviously have heard those cliches time and time and time again. But do you ever zoom out in the middle of like, here, I just broke a record or won another gold medal, and you're like, my life is a joke and it's amazing? Like, what is your perspective on the fact that pickleball is making the 4 of our livings, the 6 of ours if we include your children?
Yeah. No, I mean, like, trust me, I feel like I have to constantly stop and like pinch myself. I constantly have to stop, and like I'm in the middle of Chengdu, China, like by myself. I'm flying to foreign countries. I'm flying to Vietnam this evening. Like, what? Like, for pickleball? Are you kidding me? Like, we're living this amazing life, and and making good money, and it's just like all because of the sport that 5 years ago I was like, this is really dumb. Like, this is definitely for old people that have no athletic skills. So, but no, I mean, yeah, it is this amazing sport, and this phenomena that brings people together and brings so much joy to all walks of life. So that's why I'm so excited to kind of share this like sport with all ages and people from around the world, because it's just incredible.
So what is the drive to do as much as you're doing? I mean, you've got a full schedule here in America, and then you're spending so much time, Asia, India, beyond. Is it because you love that feeling of bringing pickleball to the masses? Like, what drives you to focus so much internationally?
I think one, it's definitely my travel bug. I mean, I have a very hard time like sitting still and being in one place. Like, we're in one place for like 10 days, and I'm like, Ryler, like, what's next? Like, where are we going? Like, like, so I do have like that itch to move on, and see more and experience more and meet more people. But it's also just like the fact that I just want the sport to touch more lives. I want the sport to expand. I want this sport to like change more people's lives in every facet of the way. Like, it's this so reachable and tangible to so many people, and people just think, oh, they see it on YouTube and they're like, oh, there's the pros, like we'll never get there. And I'm just like, okay, well then go watch my kids play 3-0-3-5. Like, that's very doable. Like, it's like, and it's so much fun, and it's a great exercise, and I just feel like it's such a sport for every single person, that I just love the process of sharing and expanding and just making it a global sport.
That's amazing. Yeah. We travel a lot, obviously, as well, but you put us to shame. And when we're on trips, it is like all I can do to convince Jill to leave the house to go to a Whole Foods twice while we're there. But do you somehow like find vacations while you're at these events? Or you seem like you're doing stuff, like going to see things and visit places. Like, do you consider your pickleball trips to be a vacation?
So for us, this is our second time around. So if we go back in time and remember that Ryler was a pro tennis player and we got to travel around the world for 4 years together on his tennis career, that we made mistakes then that we're doing better this time around. So back then it was all about like he was the professional athlete. It was me joining him and supporting him and on his journey and making sure like we had the hotels, we had flights, we had, we got to the venues, but it was like so tennis driven. Everything was about the tennis match, about tennis practices, and did you get the right food? And then we move on to the next tournament and like how do we get to the next venue and city and country. But like all of a sudden his career ended and we're like, well, we've gone to all these countries and cities, but we never saw them. Like we never actually like experienced them. Like we can check them off on our passport, or like the stamps were on our passport, but I can't say I went to Brisbane, Australia, 'cause I didn't get to do enough there, to say that I've experienced it. So this time around we said like we don't know how many times we're going to go to each city or each country, but when we're there we got to make the most of it because we never know when this career will end and when this bubble will burst. And so we're adamant about every place we go to that if we can go to some kind of sightseeing, whether it's a hike or whether it's a zoo or a museum or just like one spot in that city where you're like, oh, let me learn something about these people, about this culture. It's just, I think that's just important, not just for us, like Ryla and I, but it's like, I feel like the kids remind us of like, it's the journey that counts. It's not just about pickleball. Pickleball is just our vessel. And so us doing those aspects is allowing us to actually enjoy the journey and every step we take.
That's really well said. That is so close to inspiring me to go to more locations than just my Airbnb and Whole Foods. Like maybe I'll add one more location other than the facility into that mix.
Maybe a coffee
or at
shop.
least just let her out to go make friends.
We could
and
ask
stuff.
the Uber driver to just detour next to like the cool
Perfect.
bridge of the place, and then
just
you're like,
see a
I saw that
bridge.
bridge.
I saw
went
the
over
river.
it in our
Yeah,
Uber.
yeah.
I love
That's
it.
really well
100%.
said.
As long as I can inspire
So how
you.
interesting.
Yeah. Do you stay an extra day for this, or do you squeeze that in after like Lily, JR, Ryler, and you have all played your brackets at 9 p.m.?
We normally
all right,
try
we're doing the sightseeing.
on the back end. We try to on the back end get another day into cities if it works out. Unfortunately, right now our schedule is like insane. These 5 weeks, I'm literally going from Chengdu, China to Naples, Florida to Cincinnati to Vietnam to finish in New York City and then a week of clinics in Boston. So my schedule was super tight. So I'm really upset that I'm not getting much time in Ho Chi Minh when I go to Vietnam. But I did make sure that I went to the panda sanctuary when I was in Chengdu, China to see all the pandas for a day. So I was very excited about that.
That's great. Well, obviously, we could talk to you for hours about your ins and outs of your life, but we have some really important things we want to talk to you about. Do you want to take the next one, Jill, or should I?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm still stuck on like RV life. I want to know about like delineation of responsibilities. Are there things Ryler does, things you do? What's like the craziest situation you guys have found yourself in?
We'll do that for the bonus content.
Yeah, maybe we'll do like a bonus content because you've got a flight to catch to Vietnam. But all right, so into the meat and potatoes, breaking records. You just broke the all-time medal record on the APP. And I am so honored to have been there by your side and have done that.
It was you and
been
me.
a small part of that. Yeah, you and me, baby. JW Johnson had 68. You and I winning gold in Cincinnati made 69. And then you won one more silver with Jack that same day to get to 70. So overall, that's 26 singles medals, 28 women's doubles medals, and 16 mixed. And instead of asking you like, what does this mean to you? Tell us how you did this. Instead, I kind of want to know, how do you view and practice winning? Like what has enabled you to achieve this accomplishment? We had Will Howes on the podcast talking about winning being a skill, something that he actively cultivates and practices. Do you feel the same?
To be honest, like I don't think about winning that way. I was like, I remember Will's podcast, and I was like very intrigued with his thought process as well. But I don't think of winning that way. To me, it's the chess game. Like to me, every match is like this puzzle, and if I can solve the puzzle, that's like such a feeling of like achievement. Like, like I felt like this tournament, in particular for us, like we solved this puzzle between the two of us, how we best can like play with
Mhm.
each other and play off each other and communicate, and like we could have had the most worst results ever, but I felt like our progress and our process in achieving this like puzzle solving was like that felt so good to me. Like that feels like such an achievement, such an excitement to me, and that brings me joy. And like that's what I love about this game is the chess, like the mystery, the clues. How can I solve this puzzle and riddle? And that's like I guess you could say a win to me. But the
Yeah.
medal count or like the tournament wins, winning is fun, winning is nice, but like sometimes I've won and I've not felt great. Like I've said that Ryle's like, "Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, you won gold. What are you complaining about?" And he's like, "What are you thinking about right now?" Like he'll see me like just my wheels turning, and I'm like, something happened in that match, and or something was happening in that match, and I didn't feel good about it, and I want to solve that problem, and I need to solve it right now. Like
Yeah.
I didn't win because I didn't solve the problem. Like there's something has to be
Yeah.
addressed, and you could say like I'm addicted to progress. I'm addicted to the process of it. But I think that's what made me addicted to the sport in the first place. Is this like
The problem
constant
solving.
grasp of like problem solving?
Yeah, and getting better and adding new tools to the arsenal and seeing other players getting better. And I hate fetishizing. I never know one of those words pronunciation. I hate fetishizing failure. I really do. But like when we lost to Sophia and Shelby, and it was our first time losing in a quarterfinals and not medaling in a tournament, and even just losing to Annalie and Lee Waters, which we'll talk about later, I feel like that has pushed me to analyze aspects of my game to work, not just work harder, but like you can't solve a problem if you don't acknowledge there's a problem, right? Like you
Yeah,
can't climb a mountain if you're like the mountain's not there. You got to be like, "Hey,
right.
the
I agree.
mountain's there. There's an issue." And that is a really addicting element of the game. And I think
Yeah,
you're saying a little bit of that too. Like just that problem solving is so intriguing.
Totally. There's like
yeah,
the difference between looking at Daytona as like, what did we do right? You actually get a gift sometimes
Yeah.
by having a close match or getting beaten because it is easier to see the kind of black and white nuts and bolts of what could be changed or adjusted. Where sometimes if you win so easily like you did in Daytona, it's like, well, we just played pickleball. What did we do? Was that our
Yeah, it's almost
strategy? Was
harder to
that
know
our
what you did well
right?
when
yeah,
you win as easily as we did in that tournament.
Right. And I think you guys allowed like 12 points. And a lot of that was to do with your strategy and your hard work. But sometimes that's harder to go back in your memory and be like, yeah, what were we doing that week?
yeah, yeah. I probably didn't watch enough tape back from that tournament because it was just kind of like we didn't get those challenging moments. Whereas like when we lose matches, I know we both studied that tape like crazy on like
Nonstop.
what can we do better? What do we need to do better as a team, as individuals? We had a call about it, and we went through our notes each, and we're like, okay, we hold each other accountable and we make each other better.
Mm.
And what can we bring to the table? What each of us can bring to the table to be better next time and to be ready for the US Open, right? I mean, like that was our vision, that was our mission. And like, we did an amazing job. We turned it around. We had another battle with them in the
Yeah.
semifinals there at the US Open. And yeah, I think it's that constant like, drive for progress, drive to get better. And it's so nice to have, a partner in Jill that is also driven by that. We can just some plays you're just going to be driven by like see ball, hit ball. Did we win? Did we lose? Okay, let's just do better. We're gonna do better. But I was like, well, what does that mean? Like, how can we do better? Like, what does it mean to you? What does it mean to me? And having that open communication between the two of us, like, I remember Jill texted me this weekend something about something she had said in the match, and she was like apologizing for having said something, and I'm like, listen, like, don't ever walk on eggshells around me. Like, if you feel like
Mhm.
something happened in the match, like, tell me so I can do better, and I think that trust situation between the two of us has helped us to move forward and get better.
100%. You know what it made me think of is a lot of partnerships, and you think of this especially when people are constructing MLP teams or finding their own partners, is like looking at the player skills, the right side, the left side, the two-handed backhand, the aggressive, the kind of defensive. What's their mentality? But really, the kind of the striving for greatness in the same way is almost more important. And I think you two are a great example of that because you both are left side players. I mean, obviously we watch you play mixed with a lefty, you're on the left and mixed, and then you switch for women's is kind of ironic. And Jill traditionally has, been more of a left side girl and sometimes has played right. But really all that matters in the grand scheme when you have two quality players like the two of you, I think, is that you both see the point of it the same. It's not just about the game strategy. It's that you look at the grander whole the same. You both want to look at the footage and you both want to have a clear, idea of who you're up against and how you can improve. I mean, I know you've played with a lot of different players like in MLP and everywhere, but I feel like that's the real through line between you and Jill. What do you see as like your partnership with Jill and why it works so well?
Well, I think we are both dangerous. Like I remember talking to a couple of players that have played against us, and like we can both be the aggressors, and we can both also just defend like anything, and be the setter for the day or for our partner. And we can, because we both can have a left side player mentality, but can also play right side. It's like kind of unique. Like I get to be a left side mentality player on the right. Like I can also set you up, or I can be the aggressor and start things from there. So it's kind of this like unique situation where I was like, you know what, for the team, for us to be the best we can be, I want to be on the right side right now. And I want to be really
Right
good at the
now.
right side. And we can evolve and move from here, but we can also go the other way. Like Jill can be on the right and we can be really, really good that way. But right now it's just like I took this challenge of becoming this right side player in women's, and I'm fortunate that Jill can take that left side and be big on the left. And so I can continue to develop my skills there. That's how I felt like this partnership has like helped me on my journey of becoming a more well-rounded player.
I I was curious if you were gonna touch on that, this notion of challenging yourself on a different side and becoming a more well-rounded player because and by the way, you are crushing it on the right. I mean, you crush it on the left, you crush it on the right, you crush in the middle, you crush it on the sidelines. But, when I've been forced to play right more in mix, look how I talk about the right, forced to play right. I swear this thing has started happening to me just in the past 3 weeks where, like, I am hitting better drips than I've ever hit in my life with my backhand because I've had to. I've just had to be there, and it's making me a better player on the left now.
Yeah.
And I was curious what your thoughts are moving forward. You coach so much with juniors, and obviously your own children. Is there gonna be a right and a left side player in the future?
It's so funny. I actually had a conversation last summer with my son's best friend Marshall down in 30A, and Marshall's like, I'm a left side player. You know, JR has to play on the right. He can be my setter. I'm a left side player. This is it. I'm like, hold on. All right, let's bring it all in. Let's talk through this, okay? Listen, there's no longer going to be the left side dominant. Like if you watch Pickleball Next Generation, the creator can be anywhere on the court. If you're watching Gabe Tardy, if you're watching Hayden, if you're watching any of these players on the right that are creating and straddling the middle from the right, okay, and creating so much chaos from the right side, I want these players and the junior development to realize like it is no longer a left side world. I want them to be fully rounded, that they can play both sides of the court, be dangerous from both sides of the court, be steady from both sides of the court. And I'm adamant that both my kids are, like don't have just like one side, a one-minded view of the court. They have to be fluid. It's a fluid sport.
100%.
I totally agree with that.
I feel like there's a lot of amateur players out there who are trying to figure that out or wondering, like, I'm playing with this partner. Should I stack? Should I stay? Should we play straight up? I'm playing with a lefty personally next week in mixed. So, should we stay on return and keep our backhands in the middle? And obviously, you're rearing your children in the 3-5 zone. But what would you say is the like best sort of mentality about sides and switching when you're playing at maybe not a pro level that you adopted?
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe rec games different than tournament play. Like if it's maybe the biggest tournament of the year, US Open for you might be different. But overall, I would say I would rather people don't stack. I want people to develop both sides of the courts. As soon as you start stacking or learning about stacking, people fall in love with it. And they're like, I'm only training on the right side because that's where I'm staying. And they get so fixated and they only develop this one skill. I mean, it was the same for me. Like when I started playing, all I was good at was on the left side of the court because I had Ryla who was left-handed. So when we played mixed doubles, I was stacked to the left. I was always on the left side, and all I could do is dink from the left side, dink down the line, dink cross court. But I didn't develop my right side of the court at all, and for almost a year. And so even when I went in women's matches, I always had to find a player that was willing to play on my right, and that was often players that were weaker than me. And so I couldn't get anywhere. Like it was like, what am I doing to myself? So I honestly, I would adamantly tell people, don't do that. Don't put yourself in a box. Like you might have a stronger and weaker side, but for the long-term process of your journey through pickleball, like just accept you have one weaker, one stronger side. Just get better at that weaker side,
Yeah,
but don't put yourself in a box. Like learn both sides. They're very, very
100%.
different sides. Learn the skills on both sides of the courts and the tactics on both sides of the courts of the angles,
Yeah.
the lobs you can hit, the angles you can hit, the attacks you can hit from both sides. They're very, very different. But you got to have spent time on both and be aware of the changes that you're going through.
100%. I think people are going to really enjoy that answer. Now, before
Yeah,
we
that's
move
so well
on,
said.
I do want to make sure we leave enough time talking about the US Open. Did you guys have any other recap stuff from the US Open that you wanted to cover?
I just want to add one thing in addition to what Megan was saying. My mom was a recreational tennis player and she raised 3 tennis playing daughters and she was our coach. She didn't have like a collegiate or professional background in any sports, but she loved tennis and she's very mentally tough. And she used to say to us, there are no weaknesses, there are only strengths. And if you are an amateur listening to this at home and you're like, oh, I only like the left side, well, ask yourself, what do you like about the left side? Do you like your backhand? All right. Well, when you play the right, could you actually hit a lot of backhands? Because that's what I've started doing. I've just started kind of leaning into that. So, like, really ask yourself what it is you love about the side and see if you can explore and double down on those strengths on the other side.
I
So I
agree.
just wanted to add that.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
So, Megan, let's talk US Open. When we had lost at the Fort in the quarterfinals, we were on the phone analyzing, and I was like, I think we're going to win the US Open. I feel so good. We're going to come back stronger from this. And in a lot of ways, we did. And we ended up losing in the finals to Annalie and Lee Waters, and you were on the precipice of a triple crown. Were you thinking about that? I was thinking about you. I think I felt pressure wanting to get you a triple crown. I think I was more nervous for that match probably than you are. So some questions for you. Like, do you think far ahead about things like triple crowns or, oh my gosh, I could do this today? Or do you try and stay like 1 game at a time? And then I want to talk more about our final match, but just start there with us if you don't mind.
Yeah, it's so interesting when people talk about like the Triple Crown or like even when they were interviewing me like after the singles, like when I won the first one, they were like, "Oh my gosh, it's still on the line, Triple Crown." And I'm just like, I woke up this morning and I went to go play pickleball with my kids in the barn. And my day started and I'm getting to play another pickleball match at a really nice stadium in front of a bunch of people that apparently enjoy watching me play and bring a bunch of energy. And it's just like I don't see it as like this amazing like thing that I need to achieve. Like a lot of people maybe have it on their list of achievements that they want to have, or like they feel like that will change their life, or I'm not quite sure what they think that will do to them. To me, it's just like, okay, it's another pickleball match I get to play and an opportunity to excel in my sport and show off my skills. And like, obviously I always want to win. Like, I always want to compete. I always want to win, but the outcome doesn't drive me. The Triple Crown was not on my radar. It's not something I need to achieve to feel like my life is complete. That is not something that is like, I know that that's not going to change my life. I still get to go home to my kids and they're going to still ask me if I can have mac and cheese and hot dogs for dinner. You know, like, it's just like, it's not going to change my life. And so that's why I think that that's why my wall's going to keep going on, like, no matter what happens. And therefore I felt zero pressure of a Triple Crown or the opportunity of a Triple Crown or losing in the semifinals versus winning, after match points down. Yeah, I think I just get to, I get to enjoy the moment more because that's why I am in my life.
Yeah.
I'm in a different stage of my life and it's a privilege to be on this journey. And I always say, everybody's like, well, you're only 37, like, you got all this, life ahead and you can play for another 10 years or whatever. But like, I think the mentality for me, knowing that it could end any time, has helped me just like enjoy every moment. Like, I enjoyed every single one of those matches on stadium court at the Zing Zang at the US Open. Like, I loved playing in front of that crowd. Like, it was so fun. The energy was amazing. The fans were like totally into it. They wanted it for us. They wanted to push us through that finish line. Like, I actually, if anything, after that women's doubles match, like, I felt bad about letting them down. Like, they wanted it for us. Like, they wanted it, they wanted us to achieve it and to beat them and to, not that Anna Leigh and Lee were the villain by any means. Like, obviously they're loved by all, but, like, it was amazing that the people and the amount of people that got behind us that whole week was really incredible.
I've
never
seen a crowd quite like that. My favorite part was right before you were about to serve and the crowd was going wild and you like took a moment to like rile them up a little more. Come on. I was like,
know.
Oh, go Megan, go.
I was like,
haven't seen
Megan
that side
is
of Megan.
me right now. Like, that is everything right there.
Yeah.
So good.
992. Ooh, no, not a miss return to give match point. So here we go. 10-9-2, Fudge and Braverman. Look at Fudge playing to the crowd.
You're right. That was such an amazing crowd. And I felt very present that whole week. It was like 9 days in a row of pickleball. I don't think I've ever played more than 4 days or 5 days in a row of pickleball. I felt like in that finals match, I wish I would have played better. I wish I would have been more aggressive. I think they came in with a really different game plan than they had the day before because they had went 3 games with Allison and Daria. And I think the Waters were probably like, no dinking. That was a mistake. They even kind of alluded to that in their interview that they wanted to go in today to be really aggressive. And everyone was saying to me before the match, like, oh, Annalie's going to do the craziest speed ups. It's going to be angles you can't even begin to anticipate. And you can hear that all day long. And then seeing it is like a totally different thing. And candidly, like, it made me go out in Cincinnati and play more aggressive. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on that match. Like, was there anything that surprised you? Obviously, I wish it would have been 3 out of 5.
I know.
That's what I wish.
Yeah, I felt like we got better as the match went on. The most fascinating thing about Annalie's game is how many times did we both say to each other, out, or leave it, or no, and it landed like a foot in. Like, the amount of spin that she creates on the ball and acceleration on the ball was just fascinating to see because I would compare it to Rafa Nadal when he came into the tennis scene and he created so much rotation on the ball that other people hadn't seen before. So when you first play him, it takes you a set to get used to it. Like, Ryla played Rafa Nadal at the US Open 2008, the first time he was number 1 seed. Ryla said, first game, the ball was coming at me so fast and it was just like jumping at him that he had to adjust. By set 3, Ryla was up 3-0, because he finally took to the ball. And I felt like if we would have had a 3 or 5 match, we could have maybe got used to her 100%. Ball more. Game 2, we felt way more comfortable getting into the match, getting into the points, moving forward, accepting her pace and her spin, and really accepting that every one of her balls were in. They were all
Yeah.
in. Lee's balls may have been going out, but Annalie's balls, they have so much rotation on them and pace. We just got to accept they're going in.
Yeah. And the last time I saw her play in doubles in person was 4 years ago. And, she's changed a little bit in 4 years. And, we don't see her week in, week out on the PPA tour. There's not a ton of crossover. So, yeah, I totally agree with you. I felt like we were starting to get at least somewhat of a feel. And it would have been cool to have it be 3 out of 5.
Yeah. No, I agree. Maybe that's
Next
some
year.
feedback
I'm
we can get to
ready.
the US
Especially
Open.
considering. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's always a joy to battle with you, though.
Yeah. No, I feel like we've had so many fun moments on the court, whether it's me telling you to quiet down against the referee this weekend, or where you were gonna chirp at your
We-
over the overhead step back, and I'm like, we don't need it, we're up 7-0. Shh, quiet, quiet. Or where it's like times where you
That
tell
is
me
one
to
of
calm down. I think we've had so many fun moments and fun battles, and obviously the US Open is gonna be up there for us of, getting through a match where we match points down, and it's just fun. It's just always, I never know what to expect when we step on court. I know it's always going to be something like fun, enjoyable, laughable. Something we can look back on will always happen when we step on court. Like something, whether it's a tweener, whether it's like, I don't know, it's some kind of comment. We're gonna get
You're
something.
crazy. Your crazy get this week was unbelievable. We should
Yeah.
play
Oh
that
my
point right
God.
now on the
Yes,
pod.
the
off
backhand,
backhand
mid-court
paddle tip.
stab reset with like grazed just over the corner of the net, and I think Emily was like, "Are you actually kidding me right now?" Chasing after that
I'm
ball.
getting this ball. I was like determined to get that ball. I was like, it is not going by me.
was
I'm finishing
amazing.
this point, and I'm trying to stay out of the kitchen, but I'm getting this point. I was like, I'm flying.
Let's go. I did want to ask you, speaking of Nadal and his spin, I remember when we first had you on Flashback, the Pickleball Night in America,
Mhm.
and I asked you what your nickname was, and you told me in college they called you the Butcher because
Yes.
you had that massive one-handed slice, which we'll still see from time to time, but you've clearly done a lot to evolve your pickleball game and remove a lot of, especially your returns with that heavy slice. And then this week, Jill was playing with Will Sobek, someone who hits that return a lot. And it's become kind of a thing of the past. What's your attitude on the slice return or the slice in general and its place in pickleball versus tennis?
Good question.
Yeah, great question. I think honestly, that was a big part of entering the sport for me. Like everybody is, oh, you have the perfect game for pickleball. You have a slice backhand, slice forehand, you have great slice volleys. Now, when I look at my game, I'm just like, oh my gosh, needed to unlearn that. Over the last 2 years, I felt like that's like obsolete. Like it's no longer in existence. You can't use those shots anymore. It hurts you more to slice a return or slice an approach shot because the ball's coming back at so much more rotation at your feet that it will hurt you on the next shot. So yeah, I mean, I feel like the slice is no longer the ball of the game, and you've evolved grips, you've evolved with paddles, you've evolved with people's athleticism and ball skills. Like their top spin shots, off a slice is just exaggerated spin. So yeah, I am no longer the butcher. The butcher is out the door, and I am moving
Bye-bye,
on.
Butcher. Yeah, what would be a better nickname for Megan now? We
I
we
know.
have a nickname for you. I don't even know if we've told you your nickname. Should we
We have
tell
a nickname
her?
for Megan?
Well, if
Oh
you
yeah, we
share
do,
a
we do,
nickname
and
with
it leads
Jill's
into
sister.
to our last and final question because you've got to eat a microwaved quesadilla and you have to get on a plane because we could talk to you for literally hours, and I'm learning so much. Okay, so you have more energy than anyone I've ever met in my life, and your nickname is Terminator. I don't know if we've told you that. You're the Terminator.
I didn't know
My
that.
sister Natalie used to be the Terminator, and I told my sister, I said, "You've lost it, and I'm giving it to Megan. You are
I'm
no
sorry,
longer the
Natalie.
Terminator. Megan is the Terminator." So you're going to Vietnam today, like we've talked about. You've got these 5 events, 5 weeks in a row. Where do you get your energy from?
I sleep really well. I sleep really,
You do.
really well. When I go to sleep, I am a deep, deep sleeper, and you will not be able to wake me at all. But no, I mean, I know there's an end at the tunnel. Like I know I have these 5 weeks, and so I have this mindset of going, 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 and then I will crash. like I have this,
Okay.
like, I have this window of opportunity and I go after every moment that I
Mhm.
get these opportunities. But I also know that I have this like break session coming up as soon as New York happens. Like I go into a couple workshops, I go to clinics, but they're not anything like these tournaments. And I know a break is happening, so I can give 110% right now. I can give every
But
person
were
every
you
day.
like this before you were playing pro pickleball, when you were training for triathlons, when
Mhm.
you were at home with the kids? Like, were you go, 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 go?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've always been the person that does something 110%. Like it's like when I'm on, I'm going, like if I'm a housewife, like I'm cleaning the house, I'm doing the dishes, I'm cooking everything from scratch. Like I'm like going all in on
Yeah.
everything. But like, and so I feel like I've turned this corner of like, how can I apply that to pickleball and my brand in pickleball?
Yeah.
Because it's beyond just playing pickleball. And how can I best be the best version of myself? Like, what does the best version of myself look like? And yes, I'm focused on playing and competing, but I'm also focused on this brand and creating opportunities for
Yeah.
us long term and helping the growth of the sport worldwide and all these other aspects. And that gives me energy and inspiration and I push through
Love
sometimes
that.
fatigue. And Ryler is obviously my accountability buddy, and he's like, Megan, you are running yourself into the wall right now. Like I'm cutting you off, like I'm
Oh,
turning you off, like you need to like go to bed, like lock yourself in the bedroom, like don't come
Wow.
out, you get 24 hours, like boom. Like he sometimes has to reel me in, and luckily I have that
I
and
love
he
that.
sees that.
Wow.
But reeling me in. But he was not happy when I went to China. He was so mad.
I
He was
100% don't ever have to tell Jill to take a nap. She needs no help in that department.
I would
Like, I
like to
haven't
get
seen
the
Jill
12
for a
hours a
while.
night. I would like that, but I am a master napper. You taught me about the caffeinated nap.
I'm
Oh my God.
telling you,
Can we please, will you please tell our audience about the caffeinated nap,
guys, if you're not taking
because it
caffeinated
is
naps,
brilliant.
you are missing out. A caffeinated nap, you have a coffee or an energy drink before you go down for your 20 to
Mhm.
30-minute nap, and you wake up like you're a new person. Like you feel like $1,000,000 because you wake up to the caffeine boost and your nap boost, and it's honestly like
Mhm.
life changing.
Yeah.
Like 20
It
minutes
really is.
feels like you've
Efficiency
slept
in
12
napping.
hours. Caffeinated
It
nap,
it really does. Yeah,
it's a
you
thing.
taught me that. It's the
Yeah.
truth. I think it goes without saying that our last clinic was also sponsored by Rainstorm. We got a cooler, everyone gets towels and gear, so huge shout out to our sponsor, Rainstorm. You guys, if you're drinking Celsius, just stop. Pick up a Rainstorm. It's clean, plant-based energy. It definitely gets me through my matches, especially the long tournament
And
days.
the proven winner in a blind taste test. So it's not just our own opinion, it's fact.
Yeah.
So we know you do drink some caffeine while you play, but are there any other supplements or health food items that you swear by that you want to tell our audience about?
Yeah, I mean, I've about a year and a half ago, I added collagen to my coffee every morning. I think it's been a crucial part for my joint health, making sure that I have some collagen to get enough protein. I know I had some discussions with K-Dubby about protein, about not having it always like in powder form. Like I'm trying to just have like actual protein through meat and eggs. And like, I think it's crucial for us, especially as women. Like, I don't think enough women eat enough protein and to like
Yeah.
maintain like our strength,
How many
and our
grams do you
muscles.
try and get in a day?
Say that again?
How many grams do you try and get in a day?
Like I've tried to do the grams, and it's like hard for me mentally to get around numbers because it stresses me out. Like some people are like so good
Yeah.
to have this like, oh, I need this and like this is my schedule. To me, it's like more like, okay, I've had eggs in the morning, I've had meat, whether it's
Mhm.
chicken or steak, and it with part of my meal at lunch, and then I have a good protein source, like a handful of protein, like the size of my hand at dinner. That is less stressful to me than to weigh it out, like, know every number, like,
Yeah.
that adds stress to me.
I've got the notebook. I've got the notebook out. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm I'm I'm
Yeah,
add-
like,
I'm
and so
adding it
everybody's
up.
different,
I'm
like,
a field
some
player
people
too.
need that, like, the app, like, "Let me log this," like, "Let me do this," and, like, that holds me accountable, and I did go
Mhm.
through that phase once, but I noticed that the
Yeah.
stress that it calms me, like, didn't help me on my
Yeah.
journey. It, like, created more anxiety, if anything, on my journey. So like
Sure.
now I feel like it's more of a natural, like as long as I get protein every one of my meals, I feel like I'm doing a good job.
Yeah.
Like I feel good, like that I'm on this like right track for myself.
That's well said. That's well said. Well, Megan, you've got about 200 different things and places, things to do and places to be. So we're going to let you go. We're going to thank you so much for being on our pod today and getting to know you better. How can our listeners follow you and support you on your journey?
Yeah, I'm avid on social media with my Instagram and Facebook, but I'm working on having my blog. It's meganfudgepb.com. I have a blog up, and I'm working on a team working on vlogs as well. My YouTube channel, Megan Fudge Pickleball. So please check it out and have patience as I'm working through more videos on there. But subscribe, check it out, see what you think, and I'm sharing as much as I can on our pickleball journey through the world.
That's amazing. You're
Love
a
it.
great writer and you clearly enjoy that, and that's fun to see.
Thank you.
And on Instagram, official Megan Fudge. Don't be out there following that unofficial Megan Fudge.
That's
people.
right.
Get the official one.
That's right. Perfect. Thank you guys so much.
So hope you enjoyed that conversation with Megan. I sure did. Like we said, we could have talked to her for 3 hours. We are definitely going to have to schedule the next pod immediately to have her back on. But leave us a shout out in the comments. Who would you like to see on the pod next?
All right, you guys, never forget, pickleball is joy.
Don't let anyone tell you differently.
We out.
This pickleball life.
Quick shout out to everyone who asked me if I was Jill's mother at the US Open. It's nice to have inside jokes with our audience, and I truly appreciate that.
It made me so happy.
Speaking of enjoying moments and hot dogs and mac and cheese, what just went into the microwave?
Yeah, rather just put the microwave. I think you guys get it.
What's
Is it a
in
hot
there?
dog or is it the mac and
Does
cheese?
Ryler know?
I have to know.
That better be for the kids and not for Ryler, because he's got to wait 20 minutes till we're done filming.
I guess
No, it's
Megan
okay.
doesn't
We'll
realize
wait
that
for
was
him.
a legitimate question. I want to know what is in the microwave
It's
right
cheese
now.
quesadillas.
We have to hear it. We get to
Cheese
know.
quesadillas are
Cheese
coming out.
quesadillas, yes. That's better than hot dogs or mac and cheese.
There you go. Cheese quesadillas.
Oh my gosh.